Christmas dinner, my son reached for a candy cane. My mom smacked his hand and said, "Those are for the real grandkids." Everyone chuckled. I quietly helped him with his jacket and we left. And a week later when my dad texted, "Loan payment tomorrow, right?" I replied, "Not from us." On Christmas morning, my son Ethan came running into the room holding a piece of paper. It was bent at the corners, covered in too much glitter, his name written in uneven, shaky letters. "Mom," he said, a little out of breath, "do you think Grandma will hang this on her tree?" I looked at it for a second. "Yeah," I said, forcing a small smile. "She'll like it." He nodded like that was all he needed and ran off toward the hallway. My husband Jake was standing by the door, already dressed, watching both of us. "1 hour," Jake said quietly. "We don't stay longer than that." I nodded. We both knew why. My parents' house was already loud when we got there. Kids running through the hallway, something clattering in the kitchen, my mom laughing like it was all perfect. "Oh, there they are," she said, but she wasn't looking at us. She was looking at my sister Lauren's kids. Ethan stayed close to me, still holding his paper like it mattered. "Go on," I whispered. "You can hang it." He walked toward the tree slowly, careful, like he didn't want to do it wrong. My mom noticed. "Oh, sweetie," she said, stepping right in front of him. "Maybe not that one, okay? It doesn't really match." She took it from his hand before he could answer and set it off to the side. "Just placed it there like it didn't belong anywhere else." Ethan nodded. Didn't ask anything, didn't push, just stepped back. Jake's jaw tightened beside me. Dinner was the same as always. Lauren's kids got seconds, thirds, attention, praise. Ethan said please and thank you, and got distracted nods. I kept watching him, the way he sat straighter than usual, the way he waited before speaking, the way he looked at me before doing anything, like he needed permission just to exist there. After dinner, the kids ran to the tree. Candy canes hung from the lower branches, bright, easy to reach. Ethan looked at me. I gave him a small nod. He reached out. My mom's hand came down fast, a sharp smack against his fingers. The sound cut through the room. "Not those," she said. Then she smiled. "Those are for the real grandkids." A few people laughed, soft, casual, like it was nothing. Ethan pulled his hand back slowly, looked at it, then at me. That was enough. I stood up. "Ethan," I said, "steady. Go grab your jacket." Jake was already moving. My mom hid. "Oh my god, don't start." I didn't even look at her. We walked out. In the car, it stayed quiet for a while. Then Ethan asked, "I'm not a real grandkid?" I tightened my grip on the wheel. Jake leaned back, his voice calm. "You're ours. That's what matters." Ethan nodded, but he didn't say anything after that. A week passed. No calls, no apology. Just pictures online, smiles, family time. Then my dad texted, "Loan payment tomorrow, right?" I stared at it for a long second. For 2 years, we'd been sending them money every month, no questions. Helping them get back on their feet. Jake glanced over. "You gonna answer?" I picked up my phone, typed, deleted, typed again. "Not from us." The reply came instantly. "What do you mean?" "Then, we're counting on that." "Then, you can't just stop like that." I set my phone down, watching Ethan at the table, coloring carefully inside the lines. Careful. Quiet. My phone buzzed again. "Answer me." I picked it up. "You said those candy canes were for real grandkids." 3 dots. "Then, you're really doing this over a joke?" Jake reached over and slid a candy cane across the table to Ethan. Ethan smiled a little and started unwrapping it slowly. Like it mattered. I typed, "We only help family." Sent. The calls started right after. Dad, then mom, then dad again. I didn't answer. Jake muted the phone and set it face down. Done is done. I nodded. A few days later, my dad showed up. No call, just knocking. Jake opened the door and stayed right there, filling the frame. "What do you need?" he asked. "I need to talk to her," my dad said, trying to step inside. Jake didn't move. "I think you said everything already." I walked up behind him. My dad looked at me like I'd fix this. "You're really going to do this?" he said, "after everything we've done?" I didn't answer right away. Ethan was on the floor, building something quietly. My dad glanced at him. "Hey buddy." Ethan didn't look up, just kept building. Jake shifted slightly, blocking the doorway completely. I finally spoke. "We're done." My dad scoffed. Over a comment, I held his gaze. "You decided what counts as family," I said. "We're just following that." He opened his mouth, then stopped. Nothing came out. Jake closed the door. Not slammed, just final. That night felt different, not tense, not heavy, just quiet in a way that didn't hurt. Ethan fell asleep on the couch, leaning against Jake. I sat there for a while, watching them. No calls, no message, no noise, just us. And for the first time, it felt like enough.